This is Module 4, EP WorkMate Recording System. The EP WorkMate Recording System setup is organized into 3 layers. The top layer is called a cath map. The cath map is the basic study type, your overall setup for the entire case. Underneath the cath map, you have protocols. Each cath map in the EP WorkMate recording system can have as many as 20 different protocols. Under the protocols are pages. Each protocol has 6 pages that the user can configure with 32 channels on each page. In version 4, the user has 6 pages that the user can configure with up to 64 channels per page, as well as the 7th page, which is the System 12 lead. All of the EP WorkMate recording system setup is performed from the System Setup screen. To access the System Setup screen, simply click the Setup button or press U on the keyboard, which is the hotkey for setup. When you click the Setup button, you get the Setup screen. The Setup screen consists of 3 different areas. The upper left portion of the setup screen is the cath map setup area. The cath map setup area consists of a drop-down menu of cath map names, which are all the cath maps that are loaded into the system, and 4 buttons that you can use to change or create new cath maps. You have a Rename button, which will allow you to change the name of the currently selected cath map. You have a Save button, which will allow you to save changes to the cath map. You have a Delete button, which will allow you to delete a current cath map. And you have a Save As button, which allows you to save changes that you made and create a new cath map and give it a new name. Next to the cath map area, you have the Protocol area, which is the top middle portion of the setup screen. This menu consists of a drop-down which has all the lists of the current protocol that go with the current cath map. You also have the 3 buttons that will help you change or add new protocols. A Rename button, which allows you to rename the current protocol. An Insert button, which allows you to insert a new protocol. And a Delete button, which allows you to delete a current protocol. Using this area and these 3 buttons, you can create a list of protocols to go along with your current cath map. The rest of the setup screen deals with setting up individual pages in your protocols. It's important to know which page number you're currently looking at. You can tell the page number by looking at the top of the setup screen. It will say Cath Map Settings Page Number and give you the current page number. You can cycle up and down through the pages by using the Page Up and Page Down arrows just to the right of the protocol area. It's also important to note that you're always looking at the setup screen for the current live screen. So the live screen and the setup screen will always match. They will always be the same page number. There are several buttons which can help you go along in setting up your pages. The first button is the Print button. If you select the Print button, it will print you the setup for the current page. Using the Print button, you can go through and print every page for every protocol for the cath map. This enables you to have a hard copy of how your cath map is set up. The Renumber button is a button that actually evenly spaces all the electrograms on the screen. The ECG button changes the current page to a 12-page ECG page. The Erase button erases the current page. It clears the current page and makes it blank. The Copy and Paste buttons allow you to copy any page from any protocol in any cath map, and then paste it to any other page on any other protocol in any other cath map. So you can take one page from anywhere and paste it to another page anywhere. The All button allows you to make a change to a specific parameter in the setup screen, and then click the All button to make all the rest of the parameters in that column match. And finally, the Config, which we'll come back to shortly, opens the System Configuration menu. This is a setup background screen that allows you to change some configuration preferences in the EP WorkMate recording system. The main body of the setup screen deals with what channels to be displayed on the screen. The On column simply indicates which channels are currently turned on and displayed. All channels have a checkbox. Any channel with a check mark in the checkbox is displayed on the screen. Channels can be set up and ready to be turned on, and all you have to do to turn them on is to simply check the box, and it turns the channel on and makes it displayed. The Name column is where the channels get named. If you click on a name column for any channel, the Lead Name box pops up. Using the Lead Name box, you can rename a current channel, or you can turn on a brand new channel. There are a few ways that you can add a lead name to the specific channel. The first way is by selecting the label from the list. The list includes all the channel labels that have been used before. If you see the channel name you want to use, simply select it from the list, and the channel will be named what you selected. If you see something on the list that is close to what you want, but not exactly, you can use the Edit button. Using the Edit button, you can edit a label from the list and make it a little different so that it reads the way you want it to. The Insert button allows you to free text a new label if you don't find a label for a channel that you want to use. So, using these three, you can pick a label from the list, or you can edit one from the list, or you can use an insert to insert a brand new one. There is also a search box at the top of the lead name so that if the list is long, you can type in a first couple of letters of the label that you're looking for, and it will take you to that point in the list. There are also a couple of buttons at the bottom of the screen, the Delete and Erase buttons. The Delete button will actually delete a label from the list. So if there is a channel label in the list that you don't want to use any longer, you can click the Delete button and it will delete the selected channel. The Erase button will actually erase the currently selected row from the setup. This is the button that you would want to use when you'd want to completely turn off and eliminate all the setup and configuration for a specific channel. The next column is called Position. Each channel is given a position on the screen. Position number 1 is the top position on the screen, and it's numbered in sequence from there to the number of channels that are on the screen. You can change where the channel is on the screen by changing its position number. Next column is called Amplitude, and this is a size of the electrogram on the screen. On the EP WorkMate recording system, we do our amplitude in millivolts per centimeter, which means we're changing the scale and not the gain. All the EP WorkMate recording system signals are recorded at maximum gain, and by changing the scale, we change the size. This means that the smaller the number, the larger the size of the electrogram. Each signal on the EP WorkMate recording system screen is assigned a certain amount of space based on how many signals there are on the screen. Clipping defines the number of positions that an electrogram may extend beyond its own assigned space. In the version 3 screen, clipping is done by number of positions. If clipping is off, the electrogram will be allowed to extend as many positions across the screen as the true size of the electrogram. If clipping is on, the electrogram will only be able to stay in its assigned position within its assigned space. Any portion of the electrogram that is too large to fit in that assigned space will be clipped. The other choices in the menu, on 1, on 2, etc., indicate how many positions on either side the channel will be able to overlap. In version 4, clipping is done slightly differently. It's done by centimeter. An electrogram can be clipped 1 centimeter, 2 centimeters, 3 centimeters, etc. The next two columns are the filters for the individual channels, high pass and low pass. These are not noise filters or filters designed to eliminate any undesirable signal. These are standard filter settings for the channels. Each type of channel has recommended basic settings for high pass and low pass. The recommended settings for the high pass filter for the surface lead are 0.05 to 1 Hz. For an intracardiac channel, the high pass is recommended at 30 Hz. And for a marker or a pressure channel, the high pass is recommended to be DC direct current. The low pass setting for a surface lead is recommended at 40 to 50 Hz. For an intracardiac channel, the recommended low pass is 500 Hz. And for a marker channel, the recommended setting is also 500 Hz. A pressure channel has a recommended low pass setting of 20 to 30 Hz. Color simply defines a color of the selected channel. The EP WorkMate recording system comes loaded with 15 ASCII colors, but custom colors can be added by the user. We'll see this in the config screen. The next three columns, Source, Negative Positive, and Analyze, are where the channels are actually defined. This is where we tell the computer where to go to get the signal for this channel. Source defines the general source for the electrogram. In version 3, it can mean 3 different things. ECG is the surface electrogram, box means junction box, pin box indicates that this is an intracardiac electrogram, and PMI, which stands for pressure, marker, and interface. PMI means this channel is going to be a pressure channel or a stim marker channel. In version 4, PMI has been separated out into its components, so instead of PMI, you have the choice of analog, stim marker, and pressure. The negative-positive column is where we tell the computer specifically where to go to get the signal. In the source column, if we've chosen ECG, meaning it's a surface lead, we don't have to put anything in the negative-positive column. The computer can figure lead 2 from just the fact that it's an ECG. If we chose box, meaning that this is an intracardiac channel, in the negative-positive column, we must select the specific pins from the pin box. So when you select the negative-positive column and you've chosen box, you get a picture of the pin box. The pin box is either 56 pins or 2 pin boxes equaling 120 pins based on the size of the amplifier. To select the individual pins, you simply need to select the 2 pins you want to use. If you wanted to use pins 1 and 2, you click on pin 1 and pin 2, and then click on OK. You should then see the 2 pins you've chosen reflected in the negative-positive column. If you have chosen PMI, meaning pressure marker channel, you'll have to choose whether it's pressure 1, 2, 3, or 4, whether it's a stim marker channel, or whether it's analog channel 1, 2, or 3. The Analyze column allows you to put specific analysis on different channels. There are a lot of different choices in the Analyze menu, but only some that are routinely used. The R2R analysis, for example, is typically used on a surface lead to analyze the QRS to QRS intervals. The R2R analysis is what generates the real-time heart rate in the upper left-hand corner of the real-time screen. The A2A and V2V analyses can be placed on atrial or ventricular channel respectively, and give you real-time A2A interval analysis for V2V interval analysis. The stim analysis must be placed on the stim marker channel in order for the computer to understand that a spike on a stim marker channel is a stim spike. This also enables the auto-recording for stimulation to work. The pressure analysis is placed on the invasive pressure channel and tells the computer that this channel is analyzing a pressure and not an intracardiac electrogram. The use of the pressure analysis also causes the blood pressure to be displayed in the upper right corner of the real-time screen. The final column on the main body of your setup screen is the sync column. The amplifier has the ability to sync one channel over to a stimulator for sensing or synchronization. The channel that is sent over to the stimulator by the amplifier is selected in the sync column. You can select any one channel, but not more than one. The bottom portion of the setup screen deals with pacing site setup. The EP WorkMate will accept 2 pacing channel inputs into the amplifier. However, 4 preset pacing sites can be set up for each protocol. 2 of them using channel 1, 2 of them using channel 2. So you have A1, A2, and B1 and B2. The first ones, A1 and A2, deal with site A for channel 1. B1 and B2 deal with site B for channel 2. Using these 4 boxes, you can set up 4 pacing sites for every protocol and select from among those 4 pacing sites when you're actually doing a case. The System Configuration menu allows the user to go into the EP WorkMate recording system background and set up several preferences about how the system functions. You access the System Configuration menus by clicking the Config button on the setup screen. Looking at the System Configuration menus, there are 5 tabs: Preferences, Colors, Sizes, Paths, Amplifier. The first tab is Preferences. This tab contains several preferences about the way the system functions that the user can select. The user can put in a hospital name, choose a rhythm strip lead for all the 12 leads, set the record and update review buttons to go back in time, and set several other checkbox settings such as backup on archive, making the system backup preferences every time a patient is archived. You can change things like the date format. You can reverse the signal display. You can have the RF screens automatically pop up every time an ablation starts. There are several preferences which we're not going to look at individually, but the user has the ability to set up each and every one of them by coming to the Preferences tab. The Colors tab allows the user to set up various colors throughout the system. The system comes with default colors, but many of them are user-selected. The thing that's important for the user to know is the color wheel. If you click the color wheel button, it opens a color palette. The right half of the window is the palette. The left half of the window shows the available colors. To add a custom color to the system configuration, you simply need to click on the color palette on the desired color. This will show you a preview of that color in the box just below the palette. If you like a color and want to save it, you can type in a color name in the color name box and click the Save button. Once a color has been saved, the color is available for use for any color that is selectable in the system. It can be used for a graph color, it can be used for a signal color, or any other color that's selectable. If at any time you want to get rid of custom colors and return to the original 16, you can click the Reset First 16 button, which will get rid of any custom colors that have been created, and sets the system back to its factory settings. The third tab is the Sizes tab. The Sizes tab is where the user can configure several sizes in the EP WorkMate recording system. There are some font sizes that can be adjusted. The size or thickness of the tracings on the live and review screens can be adjusted. The fourth tab is the Paths tab. This tab is divided into two sections. The top section is for image paths. This is where the user can set default paths for saving slides, JPEGs, videos, maps, AVIs that have been recorded during the course of the study, and have them go to a default location every time. The bottom section is the archive paths. Archiving is saving the cases to a disk or server for permanent storage. Here, the user can set archive path, DVD drive, optical drive, server, or up to 5. The user can set up to 5 archive paths so that cases can be sent away to different places for permanent storage. The last tab is the amplifier. The amplifier tab lets the user set the basic amplifier settings. The amplifier is a PC that has no keyboard, mouse, or monitor, so that the amplifier tab is the only way that we can interact with the amplifier and modify its settings. The most notable setting that we might set is the notch filter. The notch filter setting can be 50 Hz, 60 Hz, or off. Off means the notch filter is completely off. 50 and 60 are the various electrical frequencies for different countries around the world.